read it and scream. A famous horror writer. That's what Zaki Beauchamp wants to be. He's writing a story about a giant blob monster. A pink, slimy creature who eats up an entire town. Then Zaki finds the typewriter in a burned-down antique store. He takes it home and starts typing. But there's something really odd about that typewriter. Something really dangerous. Because now every scary word Zaki writes is starting to come true.
Welcome back to Goosebumps Overviews, the show where we talk about Goosebump books and judge them on their merit. Tonight's episode is book number 55, The Blob That Ate Everyone! You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Monster Blood clone. And you know what? It's not completely true. So good on you, Stein. Good on you. The cover is pretty good. I like the identification of the blob here and it eating a bunch of things here. Metal parts, I guess. It's a really good, disgusting design. It looks like a big piece of chewed up bubble gum, just all smashed together with a giant, gross pink tongue. And I like the slime dripping off of it, juxtaposed upon the suburban atmosphere here. It's pretty good. Although, I think one thing that would make it better, it'd be interesting if he was eating people, because, after all, he is the blob who ate everyone. And by the way, that title, that's referenced throughout the book. It's the name of a book that's written within the book, a book within the book within the book. But, I don't know. I don't really like the title of this that much. It seems kind of goofy. It seems like one of those fake books that you would see as like a parody inside some other movie or book. But yeah, I digress. It's not really. I'm not gonna judge the book for that. I just thought I'd bring that up. So the cover's pretty good by Blob standards. This book stars Zaki Beauchamp. I thought it was pronounced Beauchamp, but I guess it's Beauchamp. Also, Zaki. He's called Zaki? That's kind of a... I'm just gonna call him Zach. Zaki's kind of... It's kind of weird. I feel like you can make fun of that. Hey, it's Hacky Zaki. It's Wacky Zaki. Coming aboard. Whoa. Stein kind of goes for a Stephen King aspect here, where he kind of... I feel like it's... With the character Zaki, he's kind of taking his childhood self and putting him into this, because Zaki wants to be a famous horror writer. Sure sounds like some Stephen King right there, I'll tell you what. I mean, how many Stephen King books have a writer in them? How many Goosebumps books have a writer in them? As far as I know, just this one, so I'll give you a thumbs up for only using that once. I don't really have a problem with it, I just... it's kind of funny to me when people kind of insert themselves into it. And I don't know R.L. Stine on a personal level. I don't really know the man at all. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a very kind and charming fellow. So I can't really say for certain if he put his personality into this, or how he would like, what he would think his childhood self was like. I can't tell you. But I'm kind of getting that feeling. So Zaki wants to be a horror writer. The book actually starts out with him reading his story to his friends. So it starts off with Zaki dying immediately to the blob. And I'm reading this thinking, oh wow, that was easy. That was quick, fast. Not as painful. Great, I'm done. So, no, turns out that's a story. And he's reading it to his friends Alex and Adam. Alex was like, whoa, it's the best story ever, Zaki. And Adam's like, wow, that is super lame, dude. And honestly, the story that he writes, it's okay. There are a few lame moments. One day, Zachy and Alex are walking through town, and they notice an antique store that's burnt down. As if, like, it was, I guess it was struck by lightning or something, and it caused it to look like an atom bomb hit it. So, they do the logical thing. Zachy runs inside and decides to take this particular antique that catches his eye. A typewriter. Zachy really likes these old and interesting new ways to write. I guess he's got a pen and quill, a computer, all that stuff. And he does have a typewriter, so he thinks he's going to fulfill his collection and use the typewriter to, well, write stories. What a classic way. You know, I think this book made me want to have a typewriter. It's like that and Resident Evil. And turns out, now I have two, and neither of them work. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway, Zachy gets this typewriter. Pretty much they come across the owner, and the owner basically gives it away to him. Not after he touches the typewriter, he gets shocked, but that comes into play later in the story, as we see. Late one night, Zachy's typing up a story, only to notice that the things he's typing are starting to come true. Although it takes him a really long time to realize this, and that's slightly painful, I guess. Basically, the sense he's writing a horror story, and everything he writes comes true, that's where all the horror from this comes from. So it's half a Blob story, half a magical typewriter story. It's not bad by Goosebumps standards, really. There's a lot of good points with the Blob, where it pretty much terrorizes the town. It gives me those scenes that I was hoping would happen in The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena, where the Blob terrorizes everything. And it's got a good resolution, somewhat. And the twist at the end is kind of dumb and makes me hate the rest of the book, kind of like Camp Nightmare. But it's not awful. It's just kind of semi-bad. So, for spoilers, Zachy basically loses the typewriter if the Blob starts attacking the town, and he discovers that within himself he has the power to make things come true or false. So he basically destroys the Blob that way. And there is actually hints towards this ending, so I kind of appreciate that. But there are no hints towards the twist where it turns out this is a story within a story again, and the whole story is being written by the Blob. Now, I have a problem with this. My first problem starts as thus. The Blob is writing about a story. He's writing a story about a world that is inhabited by humans, and blobs do not exist. And blobs only come into existence through a magical typewriter. Now, let's look at this with the roles switched. A human is writing about a world where only blobs exist, and a blob gets a typewriter where he accidentally creates humans. See, that's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of weird and doesn't really work for me. I don't know if that seems weird to you guys, but that seems a little weird and uncanny. I guess this blob is just some sort of a master storyteller. The Blob is better than R.L. Stine. Confirmed. But no, I'm not really a fan of that ending. It's kind of... I feel like it was just made for the sake of a twist being in every book. You know, they just felt like this needed to happen. And yeah, it's kind of just tacked on there. So, after reading this, I'm giving this book a 6 out of 10. It's a fun read, but it is a little bit forgettable. But it has some good points in it, and it has a fairly decently built-up ending. Except for the twist. I mean, what the fuck? So yeah, 6 out of 10. Average book. It's good. You're not going to hate... It's not too stupid. You're not going to hate yourself for reading it. So yeah, check it out. Anyway, guys, that has been my review on the Blob that ate everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed my little review, and I hope you'll stay tuned for next episode when we talk about the curse